In the year 55 BCE, after several victorious campaigns, Julius Caesar had just secured the majority of Gaul. As he consolidated his hold on these new lands, a growing threat loomed on the horizon: the Germanic tribes. These feared peoples, who had already caused Rome to tremble in the past, were increasingly making incursions across the Rhine, endangering the stability of freshly conquered Gaul. To intimidate potential enemies and assert Rome's supremacy, Caesar prepared to cross a natural barrier that symbolized the end of the known world for the Romans, the Rhine. This bold move would mark a decisive turning point in the history of these conquests. In 55 BCE, the Roman Republic had not yet extended its influence beyond the Rhine. This river separated the recently conquered Gaul from the Germanic tribes living on its eastern bank. However, the incursions of some of these tribes, including the Usipetes and Tencteri, were threatening Roman territories in Gaul. The Germans crossed the Rhine, seeking new lands after being driven back by stronger enemies. Faced with this direct threat, Caesar made the audacious decision not only to repel them but to lead an incursion across the Rhine to showcase Rome's strength. Caesar knew that simply crossing the river using traditional methods wasn't enough. The Rhine, with its 400 to 600 meters in width, was a nearly insurmountable natural barrier. But for a man like Caesar, impossible wasn't Roman. He ordered the construction of a colossal bridge to cross the river with his entire army. Caesar's brilliance lay in his speed and organization. In just 10 days, his legionaries and engineers erected a bridge nearly 500 meters long, a technological feat that even astonished the Germanic tribes. Once the bridge was completed, Caesar led his legions across to the east bank of the Rhine. This wasn't a massive invasion but rather a demonstration of power. The Germanic tribes, impressed by Rome's might, retreated without engaging in battle. For 18 days, Caesar and his men traversed the lands of the Germanic tribes, asserting Roman dominance. This political gesture showed that Rome could reach any enemy, even beyond natural borders. Caesar sent a clear message: Rome is invincible, and its enemies are never out of reach. Caesar knew that the conquest of Germania wasn't an immediate priority. His goal wasn't to engage in a long and costly war in these unknown and hard-to-control lands. The purpose of this show of force was primarily psychological and political, to show the Germanic tribes that Rome could strike anywhere without getting bogged down in risky campaigns. At that moment, Caesar's main priority remained consolidating his control over Gaul, avoiding opening a new front. From the Germanic tribes' perspective, the bridge's construction was seen as a terrifying achievement. The Germans, who had until then viewed the Rhine as a protective natural barrier, suddenly realized that Rome could cross this obstacle with ease. Stories of the Roman legion's discipline and their ability to build such a massive bridge in just 10 days quickly spread. From a Roman point of view, this demonstration was a resounding success. Caesar had proven not only his military superiority but also his engineering prowess, inspiring both fear and respect. After this demonstration, Caesar did something even more symbolic. Once his mission was accomplished, he ordered the complete dismantling of the bridge. This wasn't just a retreat but a way to show that Caesar crossed the Rhine at his will and had no intention of establishing a permanent occupation, for now. The bridge, now useless, was destroyed, as if to tell the Germans, "We came, we showed our strength, and we will return if necessary." Within a few days, all traces of the Roman passage over the Rhine had disappeared, but the psychological impact remained ingrained in memory. This feat contributed to Caesar's reputation as a military strategist, but it also showed the complexity of relations with the Germanic tribes, whose resistance continued for decades. Although Caesar never permanently invaded Germanic lands, his expeditions paved the way for future, larger incursions by the empire. By crossing the Rhine, he demonstrated Rome's ability to project its power beyond its borders. A few decades later, under the reigns of Drusus and Tiberius, the Romans launched new expeditions to explore and pacify these territories. Even though these attempts were hindered by Varus's famous defeat at the Battle of Teutoburg, the legacy of Caesar's crossing of the Rhine persisted. Rome no longer saw natural boundaries as insurmountable limits but as challenges to be overcome. Caesar's crossing of the Rhine is the perfect example of his ability to combine strategy, politics, and tactical genius. In 10 days, he had changed the course of history. His bridge symbolized not only Rome's military dominance but also Caesar's boundless ambition. I hope you enjoyed this dive into the world of Julius Caesar. Don't hesitate to subscribe for more content. Thank you to the loyal subscribers. Ciao!